Today, we're getting into an incredible story about conscience, defiance, and a choice that most of us could never imagine having to make. It's about a soldier who reached a breaking point, and it all started with one single, powerful realization.
Just think about that for a second. That's the core of this whole thing. It's what drives a person to risk absolutely everything. So, what on earth could bring a soldier to a point where he hates the person he's become?
Well, to really get it, we've got to go back to the exact moment it all started. It began with an act of destruction, an act that would change everything for him.
Picture this. You're in Gao Gog village. Soldiers are throwing a torch, soaked in gasoline, onto the roof of someone's home. And as it goes up in flames, they cheer. It's just this chilling, awful moment. The sound of that fire was so intense, it was described with just one Burmese word, hone. It captures that deep, all-consuming roar of a blaze completely out of control, the kind of sound you can feel in your chest.
And in the middle of all this is a soldier named Yi Lin. But he isn't cheering. He is just standing there, filled with total disgust. Why? Because he was part of it. He was one of the soldiers ordered to douse that house in gasoline.
Now, you might be thinking this was just a one-off, a terrible random act. But it wasn't. This was systematic. It was all part of a clear, calculated pattern coming straight from the top.
And this is absolutely crucial. These weren't rogue soldiers. The orders to burn down civilian homes came directly from their commanding officers in Light Infantry Battalion 429, Major Ki Wen-han and Captain Phyo Yan-pong.
And this pattern just kept getting worse. Before Gagager, his unit had already burned homes in another village. Here, though, they didn't just burn houses, they were ordered to smash down walls to create better lines of fire. It was just this repeating cycle of destruction, and with every order, the weight on Yilin's conscience got heavy. And this is what was going through his head. He knew that for these families, a house was everything, their entire life savings, and he was watching it all get wiped out by a single casual order. This is a classic example of what's known as moral injury, that deep wound you get when you're forced to do something that violates your own core beliefs.
So all of this is building up, and it's pushing Yilin right to the edge. After these operations, his unit gets relocated, and their new post, well, it becomes the stage for a decision that will change his life forever.
His unit, all 126 of them, gets moved to the city of Lokau. And where do they set up camp? On the very top floor of an unfinished 11-story building. So they're literally trapped up in the sky, looking down on the world below.
And from way up there, he's faced with this impossible choice. I mean, look at these options. He can stay, which means going back to base, following more orders, and committing more acts that are destroying him from the inside. Or he can try to escape, but that means climbing down 11 stories and then crossing a live minefield.
So he makes the call. Escape. But this isn't some desperate, panicked run for it. No, this is a meticulous, incredibly high-stakes plan that required a ton of courage and some serious calculation.
So how in the world do you escape from an 11th floor prison? The stairs are a no-go. They'd be caught in a second. The only way out is down the building's exterior scaffolding. And here's the sickest irony. The ground they have to cross is covered in landmines, planted by their own army.
The plan they came up with was just incredible. First, from their perch on the 11th floor, Yi Lin and a few friends scouted the perfect path. Then, they snuck out and secretly disabled six landmines right on that path. The escape was timed for exactly 2 a.m., where they planned to meet up with local resistance forces they'd already made contact with.
Okay, so the plan is set. The time is now. This is it, the moment of truth. Let's follow them, step by agonizing step, as they try to make it down from that 11th floor.
2 o'clock in the morning. It's pitch black. It's go time. Yi Lin and his 3 friends begin to climb down.
As they're scaling down the side of this building, the unit radio crackles to life. It's the check-in call. And Yi Lin, holding the radio, just calmly responds with the code, 56 par, 56 par, which means all clear. Can you even imagine the nerve that takes?
Once they finally make it to the ground, the real terror begins. This is what Yalin whispered to his friends. They are now in the minefield, walking the razor-thin path they cleared. One wrong step, and it's all over.
They make it through the mines, but they're not out of the woods yet. There's one last challenge, a field with grass so tall you could disappear in it.
They have to move through it without making a single sound, knowing that their own army sentries are nearby, listening.
And then, 3 in the morning. Exactly 1 hour after they started. They did it. They're through. They meet their contacts from the Loakai PDF. They're safe. I mean, what they pulled off is just mind-blowing. They escaped completely undetected, they made their rendezvous, and most importantly, they traded that prison of conscience on the 11th floor for a dangerous but real freedom on the ground.
And that really brings us to the question at the heart of this story. For Yi Lin, the price of following orders was hating himself. The price of following his conscience was risking a violent instant death. It just makes you wonder, when a war is all about following orders, what's the real cost of listening to yourself?